The story of Orpheus and Eurydice, as told by Apollonius of Rhodes, Virgil, and Ovid, as retold by Edith Hamilton in mythology, along with the original Latin text. Love joined you also, through those places full of fear, through this huge chaos and the silences of this empty kingdom. I beg unto the hastened fates of Eurydice. We are owed everything to you, and have delayed a little. Rather slowly or rather quickly, we rush to one seat. We all go towards this place, this our last home, and you, having the longest reign over the human race. When she, as a mature woman, has completed her rightful years, she will also be under your law. We seek this advantage as a gift. But if the fates deny a pardon for my wife, it is certain to me to not want to go back. Rejoice in this death of two. On his mother's side, he was more than mortal. He was the son of one of the muses and a Thracian prince. His mother gave him the gift of music, and Thrace, where he grew up, fostered it. The Thracians were the most musical of the peoples of Greece, but Orpheus had no rival there, or anywhere except for the gods alone. There was no limit to his power when he played and sang. No one and nothing could resist him. In the deep still woods upon the Thracian mountains, Orpheus, with his singing lyre, led the trees, led the wild beasts of the wilderness. Everything animate and inanimate followed him. He moved the rocks on the hillside and turned the courses of the rivers. When he first met and how he wooed the maiden he loved, Eurydice, we are not told. But it is clear that no maiden he wanted could ever resist the power of his song. They were married, but their joy was brief. Directly after the wedding, as the bride walked in a meadow with her bridesmaid, a viper stung her, and she died. Orpheus's grief was overwhelming. He could not endure it. He determined to go down to the world of death and try to bring Eurydice back. He said to himself, "With my song I will charm Demeter's daughter. I will charm the Lord of the Dead. Moving their hearts with my melodies, I will bear her away from Hades." He dared more than any other man ever dared for his love. He took the fearsome journey to the underworld, where he struck his lyre at the sounds. All that vast magnitude were charmed to stillness. The lifeless spirits were weeping at him, speaking such things and moving his instrument to words, and Tantalus did not capture the receding water, and the wheels of Ixen hesitated, and the flying ones did not plick at his liver. The descendants of Belus were free from their jars, and Sisyphus, you sat on your rock. O gods who rule the dark and silent world, to you all born of a woman needs must come. All lovely things at least go down to you. You are the debtor who is always paid. A little while we tarry up on earth, but we are yours forever and forever. But I seek one who came to you too soon. The bud was plucked before the flower bloomed. I tried to bear my loss, I could not bear it. Love was too strong, O God, O King. You know if that old tale men tell is true, how once the flowers saw the rape of Proserpine, then weave again for sweet Eurydice, life's pattern that was taken from the loom too quick. See, I ask a little thing, only that you will lend, not give, her to me. She shall be yours when her year's span is full. No one, under the spell of his voice, could refuse him anything. It is said, then, for the first time that the cheeks of the Eumenides, conquered by song, became moist with tears, and the royal wife does not hold off begging Orpheus. and also he who rules the lowest region is not able to deny. He drew iron tears down Pluto's cheek, and he made hell grant what love did seek. And they called for Eurydice. She was among the recent shadows, and she marched with a step slow from her wound. At the same time, the Rhodopean hero also receives this law, that he may not turn his own light back while he left the Ivarian Valley, or his future gifts would be cancelled. The inclined footpath is touched through silent silences, difficult, dark, and thick with dark fog. They summoned Eurydice and gave her to him, but under one condition, that he would not look at her as she followed him until they reached the upper world. So the two passed through the great doors of Hades to the path which would take them out of the darkness, climbing up and up. He knew that she must be behind him, but he longed unutterably to give one glance just to make sure. And they were not far from the border of the top of the land, here so that she does not fail. He, fearing and eager of seeing, he lovingly turned aside, and she slipped back immediately. But now they were almost there. The blackness was turning gray. Now he had stepped out joyful into the daylight. Then he turned to her. It was too soon. She was still in the cavern. He saw her in the dim light and held out his arms to clasp her, but in an instant she was gone. She had slipped back into the darkness, and all he heard was one faint word: farewell. And she, stretching out her arms and struggling to grasp and to be grasped, and the unlucky grasps nothing except receding airs. And now dying again, she did not complain at all about her own spouse. For what should she complain about except for that she had been loved? And she said the final farewell, for which that man barely received with his own ears, and she was returned again to the same place. Desperately, he tried to rush after her and follow her down, but he was not allowed. The gods would not consent to his entering the world of the dead a second time while he was still alive. He was forced to return to the earth alone in utter desolation. Then he forsook the company of men. He wandered through the wild solitudes of Thrace, comfortless except for his lyre, playing, always playing, and the rocks and the rivers and the trees heard him gladly, his only companions. But at last a band of women came upon him. They slew the gentle musician, tearing him limb from limb, borne along past the river's mouth onto the Lesbian shore. Nor it had suffered any change from the sea when the muse found it and buried it into the sanctuary of the island. His limbs were gathered and placed in a tomb at the foot of Mount Olympus, and there to this day the nightingales sing more sweetly than anywhere else in the world.